good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you got a chance to check this show out. We definitely appreciate it because we know you got many options. I'm Travon Smith with the Real Estate Experience, and I'm excited about today's show. It's a man I get to pick his brain. He has a wealth of knowledge and lending. I want everybody to welcome Mr. Aldo Martinez. How you doing?
Good, good. How you doing, Trey? How's
I'm doing
everybody out
good.
there?
It's
Good
definitely
deal.
it's definitely a pleasure. I always like to start the show off because I never know where it goes as far as how did you get into lending and what made you get into lending, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure. No, absolutely. I actually started probably about 18 years ago, and I started as a realtor
Okay.
together with my wife. And then we were calling lenders, lender after lender to get our borrowers pre-approved, and started feeling like we weren't really kind of getting the level of service that we expected for our borrowers. So my wife said, hey, why don't you give it a shot? So I did. I started working for this little broker shop, knew nothing about lending. I just got my real estate license, knew nothing about lending. Tried it out, and just kind of catapulted from there. Just took off. I really liked it. Started doing some pretty good things, and then the a gentleman that was the executive vice president of the real estate company that I was working for on the lending side,
Hmm.
um, called me in one time, and so because I was doing a lot of the loans out of that office.
Okay.
So and they had an in-house lender. So he called me in. I thought he was gonna fire me.
Mm.
So he called me in. He says, "Hey, do you know why I called you in?" I said, "I know, but I have a pretty good idea." And then he's like, "Yeah, I want to give you a job." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good deal." So here I thought I was gonna get fired. So that man ended up being my mentor. Um, for for several years after that, and that's how I, pretty much got into the game, and so I learned really from the best from that point forward.
Man, there's so many questions I want to ask. I'm just going to tell you right away, right off the back, this is not going to be our first interview because
Okay.
there's so many questions I want to pick off
Yeah.
that. Um, would, would that be the advice that you would give to some realtors? Because a lot of realtors are hesitant or put their feet halfway in. Are you one of those guys say, hey, shoot for the stars?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, definitely don't like anything. Don't go half speed at anything. I mean,
Yeah,
Trey, I know that you got you got kids in sports. I got kids in sports.
yes, sir.
Either go full speed or sit on the sidelines. Either do it 100% or get out of the way of people that want to do it 100%. Because honestly, I feel that everybody deserves that type of representation. Whether you're a realtor that is going all out for either $100,000 client or $1 million client,
Uh,
right? Everyone deserves the absolute best of whatever you have to bring to them. Same thing on the lending side. So I feel like I'm the very best at what I do. So I'm always going to put that foot forward, no matter what type of clientele it is, whether it's $100,000 borrower or $1 million borrower. I'm gonna do the same thing because they deserve that respect and that time from me. So I expect that from myself. I expect it from our realtors to kind of just match my intensity to provide the best customer service that I can, for sure.
and that's kind of leading into the next question I have, because as a realtor, we come across a lot of lenders, and a lot of people say they can help you with this. So you found some things that you was like, hey, well, you and your wife discussed about, like, hey, won't you try it, and then you could provide the service that we've always been looking for. What are some things that I kind of want to talk from both perspectives? What are some things that realtors can do to make your job easier? And what are some things that clients can do to make the process? We already know it's going to go at the pace it's going to go.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
can help speed it up as far as human hands can help.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, great question. I mean, setting proper expectations is always key,
Mm,
right? On our team, we don't shy away from any loan, right?
mm,
Good, bad, and different. There's a lot of lenders out there that say that they do everything, right? We do down payment assistance, we do credit challenges. But me and my team, what we do is we not only do it like that, that's what we live and breathe. That's our backyard,
okay.
right? So we don't just offer it. We don't just tell you, hey, we can get you down payment, we can get you loans with $2,000 down, $5,000, whatever. Like that's our everyday. So but with that said, if as a realtor they set expectations up of, hey, look, there's going to be some documents that are required, It may feel redundant. It may feel a little stressful. At the end of the day, it's not Aldo Martinez writing that check on that loan that's going to pay for that house. It's, you know, Joe Blow's bank, or you know, big time mortgage, or whoever it is, right? So we have to adhere to whatever they're asking us for, and it'll be quick and painless as long as we embrace and just accept what they're asking and putting before us, right? And as long as we, as you know, being the lending team and the realtor team, as long as we stick together, there it's going to be a smooth, easy sailing deal, right? We can get it done quick, we can get it done painless, get it in and out. You know, if it's a hard deal, we're up for it too, as long as we set up proper expectations.
Ha- I'm just asking because you know, I'm pretty much an easygoing guy, you know, and I'm willing to work with any kind of size, as long as we can
Yeah.
move forward. Ha- are there really realtors out there that you just be like, oh, you just grunt your teeth at?
Yeah, so I mean, there are, you know, there's bad realtors, there's, you know, there's bad lenders, there's
Uh,
bad appraisers, there's, you know, bad in every industry, right?
yeah,
Some are, you know, a lot more professional than others. You know, as long as, like you said, you know, you kind of laid back, cool, calm, collective,
yeah.
composed. Those are the guys that they're gonna be able to handle a bigger workload. You
Okay.
know, if you're the type of realtor that kind of just makes a small thing into a big fire, you know, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough because, you know, with lending changes in the market today, I mean, it's an evolving, changing world, right? Especially on our end,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
We see the market up, we see the market down, we see rates go down, stocks are going up, but bonds are not going, you know, money's not going into bonds, so rates are still high. So there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of things that we need to try to, you know, sit
Okay.
and educate
Yeah.
our, you know, our borrowers. So, but that's what, yeah, there are some out there, but there's very few. You know,
Okay.
I've dealt with nothing but a lot of professionals, and I've let realtors know up front, hey, look, I want to do a transaction with you. It may not be a good marriage between you and I. You
Mhm.
know, you may not just be feeling me, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I like somebody that is kind of equal to, that's going to match what, like, if you're going to, if
Yeah.
I'm going to answer the
Definitely.
phone at 9 o'clock, you know, I would like for you to answer at 9 o'clock. If we're trying to get this first time borrower that's sketchy and difficult or whatever to the finish line, I'm going to do it, but I expect you to do it too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my experience comes before I became a realtor. You know, I've been fortunate to buy a couple of homes,
Yeah.
and I worked with the lenders hand in hand. I was like, oh, and I was actually picking brand, doing the same thing now before I even knew. Honestly, I was going to get into real estate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, it's always a pleasure to have a great lender. Everybody needs a great lender because they do make the transactions a lot easier. And speaking of that, so I was talking to you, you know, about you with some other lenders I know, and they was like, "Man, you getting an interview with the guy Aldo Martinez?" And it was like, "That dude, that guy's pretty high up."
Yeah.
Talk to me, like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just reached out to you. I didn't do no background check on you like that.